Okay, so at one point, you also started to take apart the Colombo family.
Okay, so after this case, which was probably about 6 years, I'm requested to go down to run the Colombo squad. And at that particular time, to be very honest with you, I thought I was just too new. I only had 6 years on. I thought I needed a lot more things to learn, even though I was exposed to a lot, as I said, 7 trials during that time period. So I was flattered that I was requested to do that, and then I was kind of voluntold to go down there, which I did. And at that point in time, I'm going from a squad C10, which was a great group of young agents that were just there to help each other out, to a squad that was called C38 that had basically had 8 supervisors in 8 years. Wasn't too appealing to go down there. So I went down there and I told them 2 things. A, the squad needs stability, and B, be careful what you ask for, because I'm not a yes man. So I went down there, and then I became the official supervisor, and I was able to turn that squad around. And I was down there from December 2004 all the way up until June of 2013. The Bureau implemented a policy where you can only be a supervisor for 7 years. I actually acted for about 1.5 years, so I was in no rush to become the full-time supervisor, but I was there for about close to 9 years, and we actually had dismantled them. Some of the highlights there was the first big arrest was in June of 2008, where we took down the acting boss at the time, a bunch of captains, and from there, a guy named Joseph Joe Caves Compatiello decided to cooperate, and he told us about 3 bodies buried out on the island. We ended up finding Wild Bill Catullo there, and that started up a bunch of people to cooperate, where we had a bunch of captains decide to cooperate for the government. And then that kind of just spiraled into the same thing that we did with the Cavalcanti family. The big difference between C10 and the Colombo squad was because of shows that started to come out, such as NCIS, I had to change the strategy, where I really had to start to focus on getting proactive witnesses to make tapes, because juries would not just believe historical witnesses as to what they said. So this squad did a tremendous job. If I remember the stats correctly, during like a 7-year time period, we probably had about 7 or 8 proactive witnesses out there who made close to 1,800 recordings over a 7-year time frame, which is unheard of. These guys worked around the clock making tapes and just trying to keep the guys safe. They did a tremendous job. And another type of highlight would be in January of 2000, we executed the largest mob arrest ever, where we arrested 127 people that day. And, to kind of wrap things up, there was in June of 2013, my last official act as a supervisor was going to Jimmy Burke's basement to dig up a body there where Jimmy Burke had killed someone in 1969. He went to jail in 1980 for the Boston point shaving scandal. When he was in jail, he started to get worried because he had a bunch of cops on the payroll, and he was afraid internal audit was going to come speak to them. So they moved the body back in the 80s, but they're perps. So when they moved the body, they didn't basically move everything that was there. There were still some pieces left behind. So we had a witness who came in and decided to cooperate. It actually was Vincent Assaro's cousin, who was part of the Lufthansa heist. He was the only person they didn't kill. The reason that they didn't kill him was because he was Vincent Assaro's cousin. They took all the money from him, but they didn't kill him. So he was the only guy who was part of that heist that they didn't kill. So he tells us about the gentleman who was killed in 1969. We go and we do a dig there, and we actually found pieces of Mr. Katz, and we were able to confirm through DNA with his son. So we solved a 44-year-old homicide in June of 2013.